Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. My name is Lana Surface, and I'm the Associate Director of Graduate and Executive Programs here at American University School of Professional and Extended Studies. We are very excited to share more information about our new certificate program in digital process automation. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Clay Richardson, one of the instructors in the program, so he can tell you more about the certificate. Take it away, Clay.
Thank you, Lana, and thank you everyone for joining us for the overview and information session on the new program, Digital Process Automation Certificate Program from American University. And so what the program focuses on is helping you shift from analog to digital, right? And so we've been going through this shift for a while where now the biggest focus for most companies is being able to operate digitally, right? So I'm sure the company that you're in, organization that you're part of, is making the shift through digital transformation. And so this program helps equip you with the skills, the mindset, and the tools to navigate this transition and really come out as a leader that can help your organization drive transformation and digital automation at an enterprise level. And so what this transition reminds me of is the jump, the leap that was made from the initial manned flight that Wilbur and Orville Wright did in 1918 to the first manned orbit around the moon. And that was a big leap, right? If we look at in 1918, Wilbur and Orville Wright were able to man the first airplane and get it off the ground and bring it back down without dying, right? And so that was a big milestone for humankind at the time. But then, if we fast forward to 1969, this is the first manned moon orbit from Cape Canaveral that astronauts took. And so I use these two examples to highlight this shift that we're going through, right? And so going from analog to digital, we know we have to embrace new methods, new practices, new capabilities to make the leap. And so we know that if we don't adopt new practices, we may not get the outcomes that we expect, right? And so I use this example. Some of you may know who this guy is. Maybe pause here and give you a chance to shout out his name. So I heard somebody, they got it right. It's Howard Hughes. And so you may also recognize this aircraft that he's inside of, right? And so this was the Spruce Goose, which was an aircraft that Howard Hughes built, was contracted, the U.S. government contracted Howard Hughes to build this aircraft during World War II. And the idea was to build an aircraft that could transport large numbers of military men and women and transport military equipment, so tanks, armored carriers. And so when Howard Hughes built this, he actually built it with wood, out of wood. The frame was built out of wood. And if we look at it, that's the same approach or same method that Orville and Wilbur Wright used. So Howard Hughes was using same methodology, old thinking to build this revolutionary aircraft, right? Millions, hundreds of millions of dollars the government spent contracting with Howard Hughes to build this. And what's fascinating is, little fact here, is that the Spruce Goose, this aircraft, only got about 200 feet off of the ground before it, in its maiden voyage, 200 feet off the ground, and came back down to the ground. It only flew one time. And so we can see this as a good example of why we want to adopt new methodologies when we're trying to transition into a new era, right? And so we know we can't use the same methods and expect different results. And so when we start looking at the transition we're going through of moving from analog to digital, if we look at automation in the 1990s, 2000s, It's all about workflow, flow charts, electronic forms, and databases. If we shift and look at automation, where it is now and where it's headed, it's all about robots, multi-channel interactions, and cloud. And so we know we have to adopt these new technologies in order to shift and take advantage of new digital capabilities. And so some of you may be familiar with my background and know me from Forrester Research, where I led research on business process management, innovation, and design thinking. And this is one of my favorite slides from my time at Forrester. And this is from an analyst, another Forrester analyst, James McQuivey, who covers digital disruption. And I've always loved this graphic because it highlights how we looked at disruption in the past, what's called old disruption, versus what is now digital disruption. And the idea here is in the old model of disruption, it was about having a few ideas, right, and then investing a little bit of money or some money, right? In some cases, it could be a lot of money, but then having a few innovators, right, that would drive the innovation. That's the old model. In the new model, we now have technology that has 100 times the power, so we can focus on a larger number of ideas, right? And then this technology is available at 1/10 the cost, which allows us to bring in 10 times the innovators, right? And so this new model of disruption is accelerating innovation. And so we have to tap into this if we want to succeed in this new economy, in this new era of digital disruption. And so what does this mean, right? It means we have to shift from old skills to building some key and essential new skills. In terms of old skills, a lot of you that have joined the call are probably familiar with these old skills, probably using these old skills today on a day-to-day basis. And that's process modeling, requirements analysis, project management, business process management. What we're seeing is these old skills being replaced or extended with new skills, such as journey mapping, where we're able to model what the customer interactions are, right? So we're starting to take an outside-in approach. Instead of looking just internally at our processes, we're looking at what is the customer doing? What is their experience interacting with us, right? And then identifying, you know, are they happy? Are they not happy with what we're delivering? And using that to guide automation. Design thinking, shifting from requirements analysis to design thinking. And the big piece here with design thinking, it's all about creative problem solving and experimentation, right? So instead of going in and saying, okay, we're just going to look at the requirements and document what the customer wants or what our stakeholders want, we're shifting to be able to facilitate innovation, right? So being able to partner with our internal and external customers to brainstorm and think of new ideas and new ways to innovate. Shifting from project management to product management. And what this shift is about is moving away from just delivering a final project to looking at what is it that we're delivering? Are people using it? Are they happy with it? Are we delivering value? So it's not just about meeting the time and budget demands, it's about meeting the value demands when we look at product management. And then shifting from process management to digital automation, right? And process management was all about controlling the processes, controlling the variations and the variability. Whereas when we move into digital process automation, it's more about being able to adapt and extend, bring in intelligence, cognitive, robotics, all these different technologies that we highlighted earlier, and being able to adapt on the fly based on what the customer is requesting. So we're not trying to control the process and manage variations in a Six Sigma way. We're actually trying to have the process adapt and learn and understand what the customer is doing and be able to be responsive, right? And so just to drill into a few of these skills a little bit more in terms of what the Digital Process Automation Certificate can provide, one of the key areas is design thinking. And I mentioned already, design thinking is about moving to creative problem solving. And so we'll walk through and cover how to apply this technique to brainstorm and jumpstart innovation. And so this is the methodology from IDEO that we use. If you're familiar with IDEO, one of the top design firms in the world. And so we use this methodology, and it's been proven as a framework and a way to jumpstart innovation around digital automation, right? And so we can start with defining the challenge, observing people, forming insights, and then we can move into framing opportunities very quickly so we can identify, 10, 15, 20 ideas that we want to focus on very quickly, and then we can try rapid experiments. And so this is a very, very powerful methodology that we focus on in the Digital Process Automation course as a way to jumpstart innovation. And then I mentioned earlier, making the shift from project focus to product focus. And so we'll cover this, steps to transition from just doing detailed requirements, looking at delivery tasks and delivery dates, and moving more towards this product focus where we look at the high-level requirements, user stories, having a user-centered vision for the product that we're building and how it connects to customers, establishing rough time frames and rough size estimates for effort so we can move very quickly. And then even in this model, one of the key areas that's essential is the ability to scale out this product focus. So it's not just about, hey, let's jumpstart innovation, but it's also where we look and give specific guidance is on how do I scale this out, right? So jumpstart innovation, but then scale it. Then the last piece that's critical in terms of the new skills that we empower you with is the ability to use agile and lean practices for rapid delivery. And so this is all about combining design thinking, lean startup, and agile development in a way that gives you the ability to deliver solutions, prototypes, pilots in weeks and months very rapidly, right? And so going from project scoping, doing the customer research, getting into UX wireframes, and then delivering agile sprints and having this as a continuous loop for delivering value to your internal and external clients. And so in terms of the Digital Process Automation Certificate, this is a partnership between American University, Pega Systems, and Digital Fast Forward. And so American University's School of Professional and Extended Studies partnered with Pega and Digital Fast Forward to build a curriculum that is rigorous and that also provides a university seal of approval. And then Pega, the partnership piece that Pega brings to the table is Pega is a worldwide leader in digital process automation as a software platform. And so in the course, in the certificate program, Pega is used to provide real world software development capability, right? So in the certification program, we're building applications, digital process automation applications using the Pega platform. And then Digital Fast Forward, which is the company that I'm CEO of, and one of the other instructors, Cornelius Pone, who's the Chief Technology Officer, we bring the practices to the table. And we're also a Pega partner. So we've been working with Pega, been using the platform for over 10 years, right? So this combination of the three gives you the ability to have that university backing, real world hands-on application, but then getting these next generation practices that are so essential. And so this merges into the Digital Process Automation Certificate program. So when we look at this, This is a 5-week hybrid program, online, offline, meaning we'll meet in person initially, but then the course is offered online for an additional three weeks, and then we meet in person again at the very end. And so the key there is we created the program to provide flexibility, so it doesn't require that you live in the DC area, that you come to every class in person, but we know how important it is to have face-to-face interaction. And so what you learn over the 5 weeks is, one, digital process automation industry definitions, technologies and implementation strategies, how to collect requirements, define the product that you're going to build, the application that you're going to build within a platform. So instead of documenting everything in a Word document, part of this work, the certification course, is to teach you the skills and provide the skills on how to capture requirements and user stories within a software platform, right? Which is very important. And most importantly, at the end of the program, you'll be equipped to pass the Certified System Architect exam from Pega. So you receive both a certificate from American University, and you're ready, prepared to pass and receive the Certified System Architect exam. And even with your registration and going through the course, you'll receive a voucher to take the exam at no cost, which is very nice. Normally, that's an additional $175 to $200 to take the exam. In terms of the benefits, we wanted to highlight one major benefit to taking and completing the process automation certification program. And so the key here is what we found, just our own experience, and we're seeing this validated through different magazines like Certification Magazine, is professionals that have the Certified System Architect designation from Pega, on average in 2016, salary was $124K. And so this is a very hot certificate to have in terms of being able to advance your career and also to stand out in your organization. And so it's both if you're starting your career, you've been doing development, let's say for 2 or 3 years, this is a great certificate to have. Even if you have been in business process management, let's say, and you're at a manager or senior level in your organization, the certificate that we provide from AU, the program itself, will equip you with the strategy and practices needed to guide your organization. So we really cover a lot of ground in the course, but the key is at the end you will be a prized resource within your organization. Or if you decide, hey, I want to move to another organization, this certificate can go with you. It's an industry standard, widely acknowledged. I strongly recommend do a little bit of research around the Pega Certified System Architect designation, and you'll find that most companies have and are actively recruiting for this role, right? And so in terms of the program instructors, I already introduced myself, Clay Richardson. I'll be one of the lead instructors with 20 years of technology experience, leading expert on design thinking and digital innovation, background from Forrester Research. So a lot of where I focus in the course, in the certification program, is around how to drive innovation, what those new innovation practices are. And then my colleague, Cornelius Pone, who will be another lead instructor, or the other lead instructor, has over 15 years of technology experience, leadership experience. He's the Chief Technology Officer with Digital Fast Forward and has a background with Pega, been working with the Pega platform for about 10 years, 10 plus years. So a lot of experience that we bring to the table from a real world perspective and also from a strategy perspective. And then one person that's not included on the slide is Daryl Dunnington, who runs the PEGA certification program. And he'll be joining us on the first 2 days on site to provide training and leadership. So he'll be part of our team at the beginning, and then he'll be a part of the team throughout, helping us in terms of proctoring, exam prep, making sure that everyone gets ready for the exam. In terms of the certificate program schedule, so as I mentioned, 5-week program beginning on September 28th and wrapping up on Saturday, October 27th. And so in the first week, we provide an overview of digital process automation and then get into how do you scope digital process automation projects and engagements using design thinking, and also how do you directly capture the user stories and objectives using a tool like PEGA. And so this first week will be on campus at American University's Washington, D.C. campus in person. So it gives you an opportunity to interact directly with us one-on-one, gives us an opportunity to get to know you and what your goals are. Then when we move into week 2, 3, and 4, these are all live online. And what that means is we'll connect at the designated time, usually in the afternoons, over American University's online course platform. And so it'll be live, we can interact, we'll work as a team. And so that's the platform. In week 2, we'll focus on PEGA Business Application Platform. So really walk you through the nuts and bolts of this digital process automation platform, and then introduce how to do rapid prototyping to build digital automation applications and how to design case-based applications. So that's a key part of digital process automation is case-based applications. So being able to design a case as an object that can be used as the process is executing. We'll go into more detail on case design in the class, in the program. In week 3, we get into the application design building blocks and guardrails. And so being able to have guardrails that make sure that you and your team are designing the applications in the right way, right? And so that's really critical, being able to have these guardrails and best practices in place. And then we get into modeling data and case components and how to do process design and journey mapping. And so this gets into some of the innovation practices that are critical. During week 4, it's all about designing decisions and business rules and UX design. So how do you create responsive UX design that people love and love interacting with, and that's easy to use across different devices? And then we also touch on delivering automation solutions, digital process automation solutions using agile practices. So how do you do the user story grooming? How do you actually prioritize, do story points? And then how do you make sure that you're establishing success criteria and acceptance criteria that can be validated, right? So we get into that, and then we also jump into a little bit of debugging. And then week 5 is all about PEGA certified system exam, architect exam prep, right? And so during this session, it's a whole day session just focused on helping you get ready for the PEGA certified system architect exam. And so we'll have practice exam materials. The entire team, myself, Cornelius, Daryl will be there to help you get ready, because our success is really measured on, 1, you getting through the entire program, but 2, actually getting certified, finishing and going through to complete the certification, getting the designation from PEGA. And so with that, we invite you to send us your questions. Any questions you have, you can send to myself, clay@digitalfastforward.com, or you can send to Lana at American University. And I don't know if you want to give your email address, Lana.
Sure. Go ahead and email me at surface, surface, @american.edu. And I'm actually going to go ahead and stop the recording. And so if anybody wants to stay and ask some questions of us now, we'd love to answer your questions. Thanks so much.